So I've done tastings before on Ask the Meadmaker, and they've never gone exactly well. And I think the problem is that I'm trying to drink them and immediately talk about them, and it's just not the way my brain works. What I need to do is drink all of my products through the course of the 4-minute episode. And then, and only then, can I give you my true thoughts on them. Welcome to Ask the Meadmaker, where I, Ricky the Meadmaker, answer your questions about mead making, mead drinking, mead brewing, and really any question you're willing to send to me. Our first question this week comes from Azazel. Great name, I don't know that I've mentioned that before. Azazel wants to know, how do we clarify our meads? And the answer is, we don't. Or we do by simply being patient. Our yeast flocculates quite readily out of solution. But recently we've been having some issues with higher than normal protein content in our honey. I wrote an article about that recently. In situations like that, we don't mind the cloudy, but if you do, products like Sparkaloid are a great way to go. They leave almost all the flavor and they just help deal with yeast and a little bit of that protein. Our next question comes from Owen, who is a stand-up comedian and wanted to know if we've ever had a stand-up comedian here. And the answer is, obviously. I, Ricky the Meadmaker, was the greatest Borscht Belt comedian, headlining 1964 to 1968, but I don't blame him for not knowing that because I was going by my stage name, Yelnik Shlomo. Our next question comes from Travis, who asks, would you mind sharing with us your staggered nutrient additions for Mannaz? Is it scaled down for a hydromel, or is it standard? And I wanted to read it verbatim because I like that he said, would you mind sharing it with us? Like the world is demanding to know my staggered nutrient additions for Mannaz. But I will happily tell you, Travis, and anyone else who is interested, we don't stagger. We do a lot during the initial mix-up, but because those nutrients are absorbed by the yeast during the reproduction phase, we think it's better to have them in there early. That said, there are legal limits on how much you can use, and that is what defines how much we use here. So, this is a little unusual. We have a regular contributor to the show, a great question asker, Chris Hodge, who has flown all the way from California to Vermont to ask 2 questions on this show. Let's have him out. Howdy, Chris.
Hey, Ricky.
What's your first question?
Can mead ferment too fast?
The answer is yes and no. The fermentation speed is not the issue. It's the conditions that lead to a fast fermentation. A hot fermentation can lead to off flavors and also a very fast fermentation. If you've pitched your yeast after mixing your honey and you have no more bubbles after a day and a half, you're probably going to have some gamey flavors. Okay. All right, man. Last question of the week. Lay it on me.
Have you ever had to throw away a Firkin batch?
Yes, but I've always thrown it away into customers. This is our last question of the... Damn it. This is our last question of the week. I just need to send it over to Ricky with our word of the week. Ricky? Thank you, Ricky. Do you ever think it's not fair that we live in 2 different places but still have to share a liver? This week's word is swilking. Swilking is my favorite word for inebriation. Swilking is the sound that an old barrel would make when it was half full. It's a reference to the fact that you had so much to drink you could literally hear the liquid swilking from side to side as you walk. Swilking is our word of the week and the end of our show. Keep sending your questions and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Cheers. Welcome, Chris.
Damn it.
Do you talk to people a lot? You go
I
like,
do.
hi. Kristen says hi back to you. Watch it, Evan. You could be up here forgetting your lines.